All right, we're rolling. This is the first episode of the Suneet, Preston, and Nick show, the SPN podcast. I'm here with Preston and Suneet. How's it going, guys?
Really good. We've been hanging out, chitting a little bit.
Good, man.
Yeah, we've been spending a lot of time together, and we're about to spend more time together.
This is our
webinar.
This is hour two.
Yeah.
And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about all things AI. As business owners and real estate team leaders, we're going to talk about how the impact on AI is going to have on the industry as agents, brokers, MLS, marketing, digital, not SEO, and everything else. So
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing with SEO, just to get that out of the way, is you don't know. And as we were just saying offline, number one. And number two is friggin' you don't know. And number two is that for
yeah. Well,
The big thing for SEO, I think it depends on where your website is at right now. Like for me to take the risk on it on a site that generates 300,000 to 400,000 visitors a month, it doesn't make sense, right? So and you don't always have to be the first person, right? A lot of times the first person gets killed. You know what I mean? So you don't always have to be the first person to jump on something. With SEO, for me, it's like I already have a website that's ranking and it's growing in rank every single day. To try, AI with blogs and everything else, does it really make sense? Like, what does that outcome, or, what does that penalty look like if Google really goes after people that are using AI?
Sure.
Which is funny, though. Google uses AI in everything they do.
They have been for years.
Have it for years. Yeah.
And same with Microsoft. They produced, they had the racist AI come out. I don't know if you guys saw that headline about 2019, and they shut it down. They shut down AI because people were prompting and it got it to say some racist stuff. Right. So, and you kind of see that now with chat, people playing around with it. But I'll always think about what's the 0 to 1 moment. And for real estate agents at the agent level, a lot of them don't even have their own website.
Yeah.
So should you be talking about SEO if you don't even have the right website?
I mean, if for creating something brand new, I think it's totally fine because you're not ranking for anything yet. So if it does work and it's helpful, then use it and see what happens.
Here's the thing is maybe you don't do it to even rank. Maybe you do it just to have a robust website to help people that you send traffic to.
Yeah.
Right. Like ranking is great, but I mean, so many agents don't even have a website. They don't know about ranking. How about having value, right?
Yeah, add value first. Think about the consumer. So you rank really high, they click on your link, they show up on the page, and there's no value there.
Yeah.
So you increased your metric of visitors, but you did not acquire a new client.
That's right.
Yeah. And I mean, like Preston can tell you this is like, I'm sure, like, what's your hold rate for people on your blog pages? Are they on there forever, or they come in and they bounce quick normally?
No, I mean, organic typically are about 2.5 minutes.
Dude, huge. They spend 2.5 minutes on your website.
Yeah, the average across the site is about 3 to 3.5 minutes, all users. Organic's going to be the one that bounces more because a lot of times, we show up for 150,000 keyword phrases. So a lot of times they might accidentally get there and something we're ranking for, we're really not trying to rank for. And so those are the ones that come in and leave within 15, 20 seconds. But then you have some of the ones that actually read all the content.
Wow. And these are probably relocation people, out of the area people, visitors, tourists. Is there any data on that you know of? Have you noticed anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a big relocation market, so a lot of them. But what's funny though is like as you grow a website, and this is kind of going down the rabbit hole of SEO, but
this is about AI. It's not about AI, not SEO.
So a lot of the visitors are out of town, and like what it allows us to do now that we're ranking, we could. I could go into a market and write best of neighborhoods and everything else and show up pretty quickly organically within. So a lot of our visitors are all over the place.
Well, so if you apply that to AI and you're an agent or a team leader without a robust website like Preston, let's face it, I'm number one or number two California, and my website traffic, organic traffic sucks.
Yeah.
However, I have a robust website with a ton of value of people that go there. I'm also, in this market where ranking sometimes in these bigger markets, in California can be a real challenge. There's a little bit of competition, right?
Competition. Yeah. Yeah. In my marketplace, we're probably we're on page one of every single keyword possible because a decade of constant marketing and branding, and I'm in a marketplace of 50,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, right? So, but when you're looking at SEO and when we talk SEO, we're really talking Google ranking, aren't we, Preston?
Yeah.
Maybe how's AI in being change the competitiveness in search? AI changing that landscape. Do you see that changing in the future, Preston, Suneet, where people are going to use Google less and start using Bing more?
Or I haven't lost that big.
I
They
don't
don't even have to go to your website anymore.
It's it's one of those things, like, it's hot right now. I mean, we know it's going to change, but we don't really know what it's going to change. There's so many things that get hot real quick with a lot of people are active about, and then 3 months later it kind of dissipates.
Yeah.
Like the Clubhouse, whatever happened to that?
It's still out there. I deleted it.
That it's on Twitter Spaces now, right? So the way one tech shows up, the way it emerges down line is sometimes in a different way.
And that's that, yeah, for sure. And I think that's what you'll see. And with Chat GPT, like, a lot of people are testing. It's definitely going to shake up like the VA ISA market, because they're testing like Chat GPT texting with somebody comes in as a lead and that's having that conversation. I looked at one this morning before we got on a call, and it's having a full conversation saying, congratulate, you respond, we're buying a house in a couple of months, but we just had a baby. Within 5 seconds of responding back, congratulations. I know that can be a tough time with a new baby, with lack of sleep and everything else. But, then it continued on the conversation. So really, I see that being something that it disrupts pretty quickly.
Is the interaction with the consumer on a website in lieu of an agent? Is that replacing the agent a little bit? ISA's one, customer service.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. What does it do from that standpoint if you just have a brokerage and all of a sudden you say, okay, well, these conversations are happening, they're getting to a point. Why don't I just have a bunch of buyer agents? So, and it's with a team model, they're under you. And what does that split look like? Or, what is that? Maybe, who knows? But I see that being something that could be disrupted a lot, because the more information you add to it, the more it learns. Like right now, it's not like we're going to beta test it because we have so much traffic and so many leads coming in. Like right now, it might not be that great, but 6 months from now, once it learns all these interactions and it learns all this, because I tricked it today, like going into mortgage and answering mortgage and lender questions. But 6 months from now, it'll remember that conversation and it'll just get better.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely going to impact chat.
Yeah.
Which we use chat on our website. Do you guys use chat on your website? I got rid of it just because of the management of it, having to have somebody there answer the questions.
Yeah,
mine goes to a third party.
This was text. So this was via text. It wasn't the chat bot. But you look at chat bots, like chat bots for the most part say, if it does this next. You know what I mean? But this is something that can interact, because like if I'm on a website and I know if I call, I'm going to be on hold, I'm going to use the chat. If it's actually a chat where somebody could answer real questions, so then you could take chat and have AI connected to it, but then also be connected to a knowledge center. So it could learn your knowledge center, and so those questions could be answered by somebody that seems like a real life person.
Well, even on the knowledge center, Preston, it's not going to just know your knowledge center. It can know everyone's knowledge.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know that knowledge center, and then you add it into yours where it's, specific to what you offer and everything else. It's, I I think that's really a big area that you're going to see some disruption pretty quickly.
Where do you see it changing, Suneet, on the agent level? I mean, we obviously done some workshops and, creating a lot of content, Preston too, but on the individual agent level, what do they got to do?
I think people need to level up. Now, this is your opportunity, if you're average, to produce something outside of average without getting any better at anything, right? Like, go in there, learn whatever you got to learn from wherever you learn it. You can learn from us, great. You can learn from somewhere else, great, right? And execute. Really an opportunity to be more than average without reading a bunch of books or doing something else, right? Like, get in there, get dirty, execute. Think about, like, for me, like, not SEO, but I have now 100 times the blogs I had on my website, right? My coaching website starting to do pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I put the energy into it. I mean, honestly, if you just do more content creation of any kind, you're gonna win. Like, the person who wins is the person that brings the most value to the market, right? Start with your organic little group and get that consistency, and this is how you become an average. This is how you beat everybody. This is how I beat everybody.
Other than the person that's above average that uses it as well, right?
Well, I always think of who's that real estate agent that's not licensed yet that's going to use it. That they're going to get licensed and they're going to come into your marketplace and you're not, and they are. It's just like when I got into real estate in 2008, an IDX, a real estate website was kind of new.
Totally.
I was one of the first agents in my first year in my marketplace with a website you could search for homes.
Yeah.
I was one of the first in my office in 2014 who knew how to log into the fucking free CRM.
Yeah. Right. So you were the first, same with you, Preston, right?
The first IDX site I developed was 2004. So you can only imagine. Within a year, I was ranking ahead of every company in our market. And what the hell is this guy doing? And it was just...
Yeah, and you were a kid. You were a punk kid.
As a 24, 25 years old.
Exactly. So to my point, the person that's going to use it they probably just got their license.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, oh, these old dogs, they don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also sticking to it, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily, it helps you with things, but it doesn't do it for you. So the person that it takes, say it takes something, using it takes 30 minutes that would have taken 2 hours or whatever. At what point do those people get tired of doing the 30 minutes? Like, I think you're going to have a lot of people start using it, and like everything else, it's going to fall off, and the ones that continue to use it at a high level would excel that much further. So you're going to create, it's almost like it's going to create more separation from the average to the elite.
Yeah, for sure. Because also the consumer is going to be more equipped with knowledge, because they're going to be able to interact with search and say, hey, what's the local schools districts? What's the zoning like? What's the steep slopes? Are there floodplains in the area? And like Zillow or whatever your site is may have AI built into prompting into the search. So they're going to show up at the showing like already knowing more than the agent.
Yeah.
And so only only the elite agent's going to be have any value other than facilitating.
This is going to be the great equalizer. Like, this is like when they introduced the MLS, not as a book. This is like what were you saying? Like the invention of the automobile or the telephone.
Right.
And if you are not adopting, like, I believe this with every fiber of my being, you will get smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, it might just be me who's going to be doing the smoking. But you go all in. But you go all in and you learn this, because this is the equal. This is how you. I firmly,
It's gonna shake things up. I mean, like the chat side or the texting side, people have access to it now. So those systems that were so expensive that only a few people could figure out, now with this, a lot of people could figure it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of
being fresh in your marketing, being fresh in your emails, like being fresh in your marketing. I don't know. I can't put enough emphasis on that. I'm a believer of.
Well, there's a lot to be said about the marketing side of it, because sometimes you don't have to be the best agent, but if you're the best marketer, it doesn't matter. I know a lot of smart real estate agents. They could tell you, they could run circles around me when it comes to easements and property lines and regulations.
Dude, I don't even know how to log into car forms into the form website anymore.
Yeah, you see it in every company, right? Like, it's not always the best that leads. I mean, Starbucks coffee is not very good.
Mm.
I mean, it's not.
Are they the loudest? Are they the most consistent?
I don't know. I would say probably not.
Well, yeah, they're the consistent in multiple marketplaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got both of it. They had the marketing down just by having.
How will the multiple listing service, how will that adapt? I think it's so segmented that it can't adapt to AI.
So I was talking to someone about this the other day, and he was saying, well, you could, scrape every listing out of the MLS, make individual pages with, some kind of like web software, Webflow, I think you said, Preston. I don't know if you ever seen that or not. But we already got that with IDX.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, MLSs, they don't want to standardize. Like, that's the problem. That's why you don't see a lot more real estate websites that have listings all across the country, because every MLS is different. So the big thing you have to do with, when you look at IDX, like if I wanted to search an MLS on my website that was in 3 different MLSs, right? So it was 3 different cities. You have to standardize that data for it to show up. Like, I can't show Myrtle Beach up in Charleston because it's not standardized.
Yeah.
But once all that's standardized, you could plug, and that's the big thing. Like we're doing, you could plug it. It doesn't matter MLS wherever it's at. Once it's in there, it's standardized, and you can search whatever. So I don't know what it's going to really do on that side of it. I think what it will do for the companies that use it, like, we could look at the IDX feed we pull and create unique AI content based on that database of information we get, which then creates unique content on listing details pages. So, there's going to be a lot of things that you could do, but I don't know if it'll do anything with, as far as the MLSs. I mean, a lot of the MLS, they don't want to combine. They don't want to give up that revenue.
No, but some of what's going to happen is the larger MLS companies will adopt tools that will make the small one have to be out alone.
Yeah. Well, it'll be like in the search, like, oh, I really want a house that's buy this, this, that, right? Like, that's how.
Yes, you're going to be like, I would like to do a market analysis for 123 Main Street. Find me 3 comps.
Yeah, and that's another, like, your search queries will change, right? I want to buy a house in Myrtle Beach that has at least an acre that's a mile from the beach. Instead of saying select 2-bedroom, select 3-bedroom. So you'll be able to type that out as a query, and then the listings will show up.
It'll be a better experience.
Yeah, and it'll be like, by the way, suggest other properties that I'm not thinking about. Like Amazon crushed. Amazon, you look at their search, other people also bought this. I recommend you also look at this product, right? So that the AI's ability to give you more what you want in a real, we've talked about it before in search, but no one's really had the technology to do it. But this could do it.
Let me ask you about searches. Are you Googling stuff, or are you going to chat when you look up something, Nick?
I still Google. I mean, I'm not going to chat yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet.
But I'm about 50-50.
You're going to see that, though, what Google's working on, that chat's going to be built into. So there's going to be an option to, either you could search it or you could actually type it in there.
Yeah. What, I think one disruptive point of it will be on the legal side. You know, I think attorneys probably should be concerned with this. Unless regulation steps in, because it has an ability to write agreements, amendments, NDAs, whatever you want, letter of intent. I mean, it's pretty damn good. If you ever tried how to write a legal document, it's not readable. It's legally.
Termination letters, offer letters. I learned termination letters from you, but I really like that one because I feel cheap.
So I always think the consumer has that, where the consumer is going to be like, oh, well,
I'm going to add this.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's a horrible one. But we'll just have to adjust. And you stay ahead and you be proficient to some level, if not an expert, and you'll be good. So more reason, like, are you proficient in texting? Your mother could probably send the text. Like my mom probably couldn't, my stepdad probably can't, but he can now too, right? So before, I don't want to carry a cell phone. Now you have to adapt or die, and it'll be the same thing with AI, and it'll be the same thing with using it in your business. Like I said, think about all the pushback that the old realtors had when MLS went from a friggin' book once a week to having to log into a computer. I'm not doing this.
What do you see the biggest pushback with it?
I don't see any pushback right now, but that's because, let's be honest. I was having this conversation yesterday. Is you think 20% of people have gone to Chat GPT in the U.S.? No. What do you think it is? 10% maybe?
5%. It's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard for us because it's a big thing in the real estate world now. But
it's a big thing in the circles that we serve on real estate.
How
many of your agents have logged into Chat?
No, I think the sizzle wore off a little bit, and then you saw, not to get conspiracy theory on here, but I saw a lot of mainstream media, establishments that aren't ready started put, hey, well, wait a second, this isn't, maybe this technology is a little too early, maybe AI is gonna, destroy the world and humanity. So I think there's some fear being brought up around AI, and making people not adopt it as fast, which I kind of see that as an opportunity, because I'm like, wait a second, this is pretty still amazing tool that can create a lot of content for you, get you ahead really quick. I mean, Suneet and I talk about this all the time. We've created more content in the last 6 months than I probably did my last 6 years in Preston.
Yeah.
And Preston, you're just a content creating machine. What? You're creating pages. How many pages do you create a day for all your clients? Words.
Yeah, I mean, just on our website, we do 40 blogs a month, so about 80,000 words.
Yeah.
Just on our side.
I think, Suneet shared a conversation he had with somebody that we'll leave nameless, but he mentioned, when a technology comes up like this, lateral thinking, what will be in more demand? So because people can create so much content, what will be in demand? What will be needed at a higher level?
Do you know what it'll be? It'll be personal interaction and being able to friggin' talk and being able to friggin' present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I was watching, go to Instagram and there are full pages with millions of followers of fake people. It said, I'm an AI bot. They had every kind of good-looking female on there, probably every kind of good-looking dude. They just don't show that to me, but I'm all, holy smokes, AI bot. There's this new software. I saw a new website where you can get the model to put on any shirts that you make, pose the model any which way, AI model, and it's all done on a website.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of crazy stuff.
It's like a deep fake is here. But how good does the deep fake have to get to where you can't tell? Because you could always tell, that shit ain't real.
Yeah.
Right? Like even on that tablet, if you watch that, like it looks good, but every time that he says the name, it sounds like a robot for a second. And the mouth gets like little fuzzy.
Yeah,
It's working. But
yeah, the one, you know, the ones like you could speak into yourself and it records you, and then it'll basically turn you into say whatever.
Yeah.
You can still tell, but you know, what does it look like a year from now?
Yeah. Well, that's why you need the personal interaction and you being able to, like we're saying, present, which is a skill that we all three have, but so many don't. It's something to think about. Because otherwise, you will get smoked. We don't adopt. If you can't present, you're going to get smoked.
Bro, this too is like Warren Buffett has one diploma certificate on his wall, right? And it's the Dale Carnegie public speaking.
Yeah.
Right. He's been awarded honorable, PhD, doctorate at multiple universities. He's probably turned down more honorable degrees than anybody.
Probably.
And it has Dale Carnegie's public speaking, so that ability to articulate and verbalize and connect on a human level, luckily for us in our industry, is going to be a premium.
Yeah.
But will you have the opportunity to be in front of them? Right?
The opportunities that you get to be in front of people become even more valuable, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's possible, for them to get more valuable.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think no matter where people are at, they're gonna have a limited amount of time. What's nice about, they're gonna be doctors, surgeons, have families, and they could always sell their own home. They could always probably find their own home too. But do they have the convenience?
Do they have the risk reversal? What if I mess up and get sued? Right. And that's what we provide both as real estate coaching, and like, what if I do this and I mess up, and helping somebody buy or sell a house? Risk reversal is what they pay for, always.
I look at the big establishment, NAR, National Association of Realtors, is like they're incentivized by memberships. And so technology a lot of times will eliminate the need for labor. Right? Isn't that what technology does? It kind of eliminates
Look at the tractor compared to the ox, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it goes all the way back.
Yeah, there's fewer, something like 100 years ago, half of Americans were tied to the farming industry at some level, industrial farming. What percentage of people are farmers now? Very few farmers.
Yeah, it'll definitely help on the sales side. It'll definitely, once it's more and more used on the chat or texting or whatever, with voice now, it'll eventually become voice. So it's just going to push a lot of those sales that are further up in the funnel, the ones that are actually mid funnel or lower. Then you could have a real person take that over, where you don't need those 500 people calling or whatever it is the call center is. So you're definitely going to see that.
Well, who's gonna adopt this at the highest level and maximize, extract every little bit of value out of it? Who is it? Is it the agent? Is it the team? Or is it the brokerage?
Or is it the person building the software that runs the teams and runs the brokerages and runs the agents?
Right? Or is it the portal Zillow? Right. So I know it's probably not the agent. I know it's probably, this is my opinion, it's not going to be the agent.
It's not going to be the brokerage.
It's probably not going to be the brokerage.
I mean, in our cases where we have
it depends on the brokerage for sure. Yeah.
Not the traditional.
Right.
They'll have some, just like they all have some basic ass CRM.
Because somebody that's doing it at an agent level that's very proficient is going to become a team one day.
Yep.
Right. So, whoever it is, whoever's proficient at it, they're either going to go from agent to team lead, or they're going to go from big, a medium-sized team to a bigger team.
It's not going to be the person or the industry where their values based on how many agents they have will not be the one that wants to adopt it, because it removes the need for so many agents. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whose ox is going to be gored by AI? right? So if your model is incentivized by having how many agents you have, I don't know. I think teams are going to get better, bigger, meaning sales and market share, right? Or the tech stack that goes on top of a team that makes them grow.
So I always think that more agents, the better.
Yeah. Well, do you think about it this way, though? If it's less, is that the transaction fee companies only that are making, they need all the transactions to survive.
There's nothing to be wrong with that.
No, there's not. Well, I'm just saying, no, I'm not saying there.
I just happen to own one of those too.
No, I'm just saying, like, is that like you're talking about with this, you need less agents, right? And if you look at it from a business standpoint, you're very good at this. And instead of needing the ISAs and all these other things, and then you have this coming down, instead of coming in the funnel way up here, they're way down here. And you can say, okay, well, they're already ready to go, or, whatever. And your split is really good to the company and still good to the agent, but it's just not as much.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, like, I have, I think, 12 ISAs between.
I think a way to look at it, because then you look at the data that it could pull, like based on activity. If you look at like if it pulls web activity for the clients that are on your site, or the way they answer or open emails or whatever they're doing, if there's a way to pull that into something and segment your database, I mean, it should be a great way to eventually run your database.
It should be. You're absolutely right. That's a good idea.
It does make a note.
Write that fucking sucker down right now, dude. Don't let it go anywhere.
I think it makes even more of a premium on salespeople, right? So
good ones, yeah.
Good salespeople.
So that's Suneet says. I always think more agents better. No, more salespeople's better.
Sure.
Right. So
and more agents. I mean, I just want more of everything. But yeah.
Yeah. Suneet wants more of it. How can Suneet always, I don't know, does he say this stuff to you properly? I just want it all. I want that to be better than before. He's always trying to take over the world with something. He's a mad scientist going there. But I mean, does it replace the integrational tasks, the administrational task at level, or is there already so much of that?
It's going to replace.
It'll only get better.
Yeah, it's going to replace some of them for sure.
Like listing input, you get a listing. The time it takes to put in a listing is going to go from an hour to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Those are good uses that will, I think, be productive to our time spent and cost.
Right.
And we'll be the early adopters of that too and figure it out first. And report back here how it works out.
You're starting to see it with like even going another direction. You're starting to see it with like kitchen remodel design. Yeah. Well, it'll like you say, I want this cabinet. It'll throw in all this in your kitchen with cabinets, stainless steel, certain type of countertops by typing and building it. So you're going to see it. You're going to see it in the photography world as well. Like edit. You think about editing. If there was a way to AI could edit it for you, just put it in there and it just spits it out.
Yeah, so, well, they have that now.
Yeah.
So totally. Yeah, that's here.
That's here. Yeah. So we didn't even touch on AI when it comes to imagery. And that's what you're talking about, Preston, right? The journey stuff, Suneet talked about the video side of it, but.
And the models, right? Like,
yeah. On the builder, Preston, how, to your point, the designers, the builders, how are the builders going to utilize this stuff?
Well, that was the one I looked at. It was where it showed a kitchen, old cabinets, and they typed it in, white cabinets, higher crown molding, marble island, stainless steel appliance. Within seconds, it built this whole kitchen. And then it said, take out the island and put like a piece of furniture there. It did it in seconds. So all those things that you have, the way it used to be, I used to have to sit in front of, whatever I was, AutoCAD or whatever I was using to do these, then render it. And you're talking about hours upon hours. This is like minutes, seconds. It's crazy.
Creating efficiencies, man.
That's really, I mean, when you boil it all down, it's the compression of time. It's the amount of time it takes you to do anything that requires well, a service or a experience or anything you can do on a computer. It fraction of the time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that was to the moon and back when it comes to AI. I think scratching the surface, but as we move forward in this journey with our spin show, the Suneet, Preston, Nick show, I think we'll dive deeper into like real world tactical strategies. What do you guys think? Where do you guys see this other than AI?
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, if they, as we continue to do, if they could make requests and we could, listen to requests as well, or look at the market, where's the market taking us? And that essentially gives us ideas there.
Yeah, don't look right now. You got the Fed meeting, what, 12 days?
Yeah. You what's interesting about the Fed meeting, what is it? Depends on people watch this, March 9th. They had that congressional hearing. And
did you see that? I saw that last night too.
Yeah, the congressional hearing, and it was really interesting. It's amazing how the Fed chair is such a celebrity now, or figure in society.
Or villain.
Or hero.
Yeah, it started like it seems like that started like the last 5 years, 6 years.
Greenspan is what I feel like back when everything crashed without Greenspan.
And
then it got bigger with Yellen when she was on there.
And for real estate agents and people that own real estate, the interest rate is such a cleaver or a lever, and it impacts us so greatly that almost everyone's interested.
Yeah.
Does it impact us, or does it impact the consumers, and by proxy us?
Oh, the consumer. Yeah. The consumer 100%. The millennials really now that are trying to get into home ownership. But what was interesting, job reports came out and job losses increased. So unemployment went up and the stock market rallied because of it. Yeah. Because they want that to happen, because that's a sign interest rates will start slowing, because that's what he wants.
Yeah, that's the whole reason interest rates went crazy was because they had that massive job gain. I don't know if did they ever go back and edit that month? I think it was a mistake. It was like over 500,000 jobs added.
Oh, right. Because they were, yeah.
Christmas holidays or something.
Or rebound from COVID.
Yeah. But yeah, it's inflation data comes out too. So
yeah, so it's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks. So we'll be talking on current events, I think, too, and how it impacts the industry, marketing, big time. You can hear every time Cindy had a moment to say something, he says something about marketing.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to.
And Preston knows a thing or two about digital marketing and pay-per-click and SEO. So, yeah. So sounds good, guys. We'll set it up. We'll set up the next one.
Yeah, good. All right.
See y'all.